Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful for You channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The tension inside the Forrester mansion could be cut with a knife that afternoon. Ridge Forrester stood near the window, hands clenched, staring out at the Los Angeles skyline that glimmered through the haze. The man who built an empire on strength, loyalty, and love had just learned that the woman he trusted most, his eternal compass, might have been keeping something from him. For Ridge, it wasn't just about a secret. It was about betrayal, about history repeating itself in the cruelest way. And as much as he wanted to deny it, the truth was already seeping into every fiber of his being. Brooke Logan, his Brooke, stood just a few feet away, trembling slightly, her blue eyes wide and wet. She could see the storm brewing in Ridge's face. The man she had loved for most of her adult life was about to explode, and this time, she wasn't sure she'd be able to calm him down. "Ridge," she whispered, her voice breaking the silence like fragile glass. "Please, let me explain before you jump to conclusions." He turned sharply, his voice low but edged with venom. "Explain? You want to explain this to me?" He took a few steps closer, his eyes narrowing as he looked at her as if she were a stranger. "You lied to me, Brooke. Again. After everything we'd been through, after all the promises, you looked me in the eye and swore there were no more secrets between us, and you still lied." Brooke's heart thudded painfully. "I didn't lie to hurt you," she tried, her voice quivering. "I did it because I thought I was protecting you, protecting us." Ridge let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Protecting us? That's the same excuse you used every time the truth came out, every time something blew up in our faces. Do you even hear yourself anymore?" He walked away from her, dragging his hand down his face as he paced the room. His mind was racing, connecting fragments of what he'd overheard, what he'd seen, and what he now knew. Brooke had hidden something huge, something that involved not just her but someone else close to the family. And the longer she stayed silent, the angrier he became. "Ridge," she pleaded softly, stepping toward him, "it wasn't supposed to be like this. I was trying to do the right thing." "The right thing?" He turned on her again, his tone rising. "Tell me, Brooke, since when is keeping secrets from your husband the right thing? You always say you hate lies, that honesty is everything, but here we are again. You lied to my face. To me." She shook her head, tears streaming now. "I didn't mean for it to spiral out of control. I thought if I told you, it would only make things worse." "Worse than this?" Ridge barked. "You think there's anything worse than finding out the woman I love has been hiding the truth from me? You think this," he gestured between them, his voice cracking under the weight of emotion, "this doesn't destroy everything?" Brooke's lip trembled. "Please, Ridge, just let me tell you everything from the beginning." Ridge folded his arms, chest heaving. "You have one chance, Brooke. One." She took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a moment as if gathering strength. "It started a few weeks ago," she began softly. "I got a call from someone I never expected to hear from again. It was Shauna." Ridge's jaw tightened. "Shauna Fulton," he said with disdain. "That woman has caused enough trouble for this family. Why didn't you tell me she contacted you?" "Because I didn't want to upset you," Brooke admitted. "I thought she just wanted to stir things up again. But it wasn't about that. It was about something she found out, something about Hope." Ridge's brow furrowed. "Hope? What does Hope have to do with this?" Brooke swallowed hard, her fingers trembling. "Shauna told me there was a rumor spreading, that Hope was involved in a design deal behind the scenes, one that could have jeopardized Forrester's partnership with one of our European investors. She said someone was feeding confidential information to a competitor. I didn't believe her, of course, not at first, but then I started noticing little things. Files missing, designs leaked before showings. I thought it might be nothing, but I couldn't take the risk." Ridge's eyes darkened. "So instead of coming to me, you went behind my back?" "I had to find out the truth before I accused anyone," Brooke said quickly. I didn't want to drag Hope through the mud for no reason, not unless I was sure. Ridge's voice was like thunder now. You don't get to decide that on your own, Brooke. We're supposed to be partners, in life, in business, in everything. You should have come to me. Brooke's tears fell faster. I know. I know I should have. But I couldn't bear to see you look at me with that same disappointment again. I thought I could fix it quietly and then tell you once it was over. But you didn't fix it, Ridge said coldly. You just made it worse. The weight of his words crushed her. She tried to reach out to him, but he stepped back. The distance between them felt like miles. I found out about the meeting, Ridge continued, his voice low now, deadly calm. I saw the security footage. You met with Bill Spencer at Il Giardino, and you told him about the internal chaos at Forrester Creations. You told him. Brooke froze. The blood drained from her face. Ridge, no, it's not what it looked like. Don't. Ridge shouted, slamming his hand on the table. Don't you dare tell me it's not what it looked like. You sat there with the man who's made it his mission to destroy me, and you confided in him. You think I don't know Bill? You think I don't know what he's capable of? It wasn't about business, Brooke cried. Bill came to me because he said he was worried about Liam, and I thought if I could calm him down, it might help everyone. He started asking about. Upon Bill's arrival to the hospital later that day, accompanied by Justin Barber, the entire ambience transformed. Nurses were immobilized, and murmurs proliferated rapidly, that's Bill Spencer, the father of the boy she ensnared. However, Bill was not present as the merciless tycoon. He was present as a man overwhelmed with remorse. He ambled down the corridor, his reflection visible in the glass panels, his thoughts traversing memories of Luna, the day she entered his office imploring for compassion, the manner in which he had callously rejected her as a deceitful manipulator, and her final words to him, you perceive me as malevolent, but one day you will realize I was merely adrift. Upon entering Luna's hospital room, the sight of her inert form shattered him. He sank onto the chair adjacent to the bed, his hands obscuring his face as tears cascaded down. You were undeserving of this, he said. Not in this manner. His voice faltered as he extended his hand toward hers. I believed I was safeguarding my son. I believed I was acting correctly. All I did was destroy you. Will stood in the doorway, his complexion ashen, shame and confusion enveloping him. Father, is she truly gone? Bill acquiesced, his eyes brimming with melancholy. She miscarried, Will. Our fury extinguished it as effectively as the beast that harmed her. Simultaneously, Hope Logan, the quintessential empath of the Forrester Logan sphere, received the information from Brooke, who had obtained it from Ridge. Hope remained mute, her thoughts engulfed by recollections of her personal losses and suffering. She softly whispered, no one deserves that, not even Luna. Brooke placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder, murmuring, tragedy serves to remind us of our shared humanity. Meanwhile, Sheila Carter, the unpredictable element, astonished everyone by arriving at the hospital unannounced. Her relationship with Luna was intricate. Initially adversaries, they became unforeseen allies amid Luna's turmoil, forging a peculiar connection rooted in their mutual fragility. Sheila positioned herself at the base of Luna's bed, her voice quivering. You were merely a girl seeking love in a world that devours individuals, she remarked gently. Finn gazed with astonishment. Mother, what brings you here? Sheila gazed at her kid with eyes brimming with tears. Regardless of her actions, she did not merit such a demise. None of us do. This was an unusual instance of unfiltered candor from the notorious Sheila Carter, a moment that rendered Finn momentarily dumbfounded. As Luna's heartbeat ceased, the monitor's beeping diminished to quiet, and time appeared to halt. The room resonated with the subdued sobbing of individuals who had previously despised her, who had condemned her, and who recognized too late that she had been pleading for assistance all along. Bill gradually stood and approached the window, gazing at the Los Angeles skyline that now appeared vacant. A child who was never born, he murmured. Due to our excessive pride and obsession with vengeance. The remorse would torment him for months, visions of Luna extending her hand towards him, her voice reverberating, "You could have saved me, Bill." He commenced frequent visits to her grave, leaving white roses, her favorite flower, as she once confided to Will, because they symbolize forgiveness. During each visit, he conversed with her spirit, pleading for absolution he feared would remain elusive. Subsequently, the Forrester and Spencer families confronted a moral reckoning. Steffi grappled with the notion that her efforts to maintain Luna's incarceration had inadvertently exacerbated her anguish. Finn temporarily estranged himself from his wife, engulfed by sorrow and remorse, unable to harmonize his affection for Steffi with his empathy for Luna. Lee immersed herself in her job, directing her anguish towards aiding others, quietly dedicating each surgery to the niche she could not safeguard. Hope created a charitable initiative for abused and pregnant inmates, resolute in her commitment to prevent the recurrence of Luna's narrative. Sheila, too, felt unusually depressed and remarked to Deacon one evening, "Perhaps this is the universe indicating that redemption invariably entails a cost." Bill, however, was the most shattered individual. In his mansion, enveloped by luxury that had lost its significance, he frequently sat in solitude, gazing at a small photograph, one snapped by the media of Luna beaming on her inaugural day at Forrester Creations. In that snapshot, she appeared luminous, brimming with potential, oblivious to the calamity that awaited her future. "You could have possessed it all," he whispered one evening, holding the photograph tightly against his chest. "I could have rescued you." Upon discovering his father in tears, Will was at a loss for words. The boy who previously loathed Luna now had an unsettling void, the recognition that beneath her deceit lay a girl shattered by isolation and despair. "She was unworthy of such a demise, father," he stated softly. Bill gazed upward, his eyes inflamed and his voice raspy. "Nobody does, son. However, each of us contributed to the endeavor. Each and every one of us." The bold and the beautiful, in its characteristic manner, transformed Luna's devastating miscarriage into a profound emotional occurrence that reverberated through every family, feud, and clandestine partnership in Los Angeles. Her demise, along with that of her unborn offspring, serves as a poignant reminder of the extent to which animosity and retribution can prevail when empathy is disregarded. Months later, the reverberations of Luna's last moments persisted, Steffi's troubled dreams, Finn's revitalized commitment to his patients, Lee's subdued grief, Sheila's unforeseen compassion, Hope's resolve to reform the system, and Bill's tears, the tears of a man who comprehended too late that power and pride are inconsequential when a life and an opportunity for redemption are irrevocably forfeited. In the hidden recesses of the world, Luna's spirit murmured through the wind, a poignant reminder that even the most fractured souls merit love, that forgiveness is the most arduous yet essential act, and that often, amidst tragedy, redemption commences not with grand gestures but with a solitary tear of authentic remorse. In the weeks subsequent to Luna Nozawa's sad demise and miscarriage, Los Angeles appeared subdued, yet it was a quietness reminiscent of the aftermath of an explosion, a quietude that resonated beneath the city lights and echoed through the canyons like a spectral lament. Bill Spencer frequently found himself solitary in his Bel Air mansion, the whiskey on his desk remaining untouched, the lights subdued, while the portrait of his boys loomed above him like an unyielding jury he could never confront. Sleep was infrequent, and when it occurred, it delivered nightmares that left him breathless, Luna's visage, bruised and terrified, extending toward him from behind prison bars, murmuring his name in a tone that conveyed both remorse and absolution intertwined. 3 weeks had elapsed since the call that transformed everything, yet Bill's mind remained restless. There were discrepancies, minor, persistent elements that contradicted the official report. The guards asserted that Luna's assailant, Cassie Jones, acted independently during a verbal dispute, however Bill's instincts, those same acute instincts that had established empires and vanquished adversaries, insisted otherwise. "In a place like that, no one perishes in solitude," he murmured to himself, tapping the prison incident file he had discreetly acquired from a contact at the Department of Corrections. Upon observing the sealed disciplinary records, the absent surveillance footage from the cell block, and the abrupt departure of the warden within 2 days following Luna's demise, Bill discerned the reality: someone sought to quiet her. Initially, he disclosed the inquiry he was discreetly doing to no one, not even Will. Justin Barber, his long-standing advisor and legal counsel, was the initial individual he contacted. "Investigate thoroughly," Bill commanded. "Each guard, each inmate, each transfer, each penny that transacted in or out of that prison." Justin, perpetually composed and exact, merely nodded. "Do you believe it was a targeted attack?" Bill's gaze deepened. "I suspect someone aimed to ensure Luna remained silent indefinitely." The subject of her potential discourse, however, persisted as an enigmatic conundrum. Did she possess knowledge of a concealed aspect of the Forrester-Finnegan feud? Was it related to her relationship with Will, or a secret she was on the verge of revealing in that letter that never arrived? Bill's intuition suggested that this was not coincidental. The girl responsible for the destruction of his family perished while attempting to safeguard her sole innocent possession, her unborn child, indicating that a more significant force was at work. In a secluded area of the Forrester estate, situated on the cliffside, Steffi Forrester was experiencing emotional turmoil in solitude. To the external observer, she appeared as the poised, authoritative CEO who continued to conduct meetings, endorse designs, and maintain her composure, yet, in private, she awoke in the nocturnal hours, soaked in perspiration, haunted by Luna's voice echoing in her dreams. "You desired my departure," it stated. "And now I am." Each morning, she perched on the edge of her bed, gazing toward the ocean, unable to dispel the sensation that she had transgressed some irrevocable moral boundary. Finn promptly observed her detachment. "You continue to contemplate Luna," he remarked gently one evening as they occupied the subdued illumination of their living room, accompanied by the sound of waves smashing below. Steffi turned, tears welling despite her attempts to suppress them. "She was with child, Finn. I despised her, unaware that she was nurturing a life within her." "What type of individual does that render me?" Finn grasped her hand. "It renders you human. However, it also signifies that we must endure the repercussions." His statement resonated profoundly between them. "Bill is not relinquishing it," he remarked softly. "He has been inquiring concerning the correctional facility, regarding potential individuals who may have desired Luna's demise." Steffi's eyes widened. "What is the significance of that?" "It signifies," Finn remarked, averting his gaze, "that this is not concluded." Concurrently, Lee Finnegan had immersed herself in her medical duties with a fervor that approached obsession. She conducted consecutive procedures with minimal sustenance or rest, while her colleagues speculated that she was seeking redemption for something. Their conjecture was accurate. Each instant she sterilized a knife or sutured a wound, she envisioned Luna's visage, contused, fractured, imploring. The image plagued her. She was so resolute in safeguarding the family's reputation that she forsook her own niece. The niece and the infant she bore have now departed. Late one night, Lee accessed Luna's medical records and discovered unexpected notes regarding a prenatal ailment, namely a unique genetic marker necessitating particular care. The type of information that would have been accessible solely through the examination of Luna's confidential records. "Who authorized this?" Lee murmured. The signature at the bottom sent a chill through her veins. It was not from someone affiliated with the jail hospital. The communication originated from a physician associated with Forrester, whom she recognized as having previously treated Steffi following her shooting incident years prior. Suddenly, Lee experienced a sensation of nausea. Was Luna's medical history disclosed? Was she under surveillance before to the assault? For the first time, Lee contemplated whether an individual at Forrester Creations had engaged in activities far more sinister than mere workplace competition. Hope Logan, conversely, transformed Luna's demise into a crusade. The remorse she experienced for failing to recognize Luna's suffering before, for regarding her merely as another scandal in the perpetual cycle of Forrester drama, was consuming her. She established a non-profit in Luna's honor, Project Renewal, aimed at advocating for pregnant inmates and survivors of abuse. During the press conference, her voice quivered as she declared, "No woman should perish unnoticed, unacknowledged, or unloved." Cameras illuminated the scene, and Brooke observed with pride.